I'm going to make another liniment now. This one is a more traditional formula that's for new injuries, so it has more cooling herbs in it. The one I did before was for a cold bee pattern, so that's not even necessarily for an injury, but when, cold is really entered into the joints or the channels. The cold bee one is good for that, but this one is more for new trauma, like you just twisted your ankle or something like that. So I'll put the formula in the comments for the video, but let's look at the herbs briefly. I've measured them out. It's asking for 12 grams of each, but I kind of made it a generous 12 grams, often a few grams more. And so here's, Da Huang, which is, of course, famous for constipation, but in this case, it is really good at moving blood, and it's also cooling for the heat. Some people might call it inflammation in a new injury. So we're not going to use ice because ice contracts and stagnates, but if you use a cold herb like Da Huang, it does have the cooling that ice might give, but it also is moving, so there's not going to be stagnation. The second one is Jiǔ, another very cooling and somewhat blood-moving herb. Of course, the red color makes it have an affinity for blood. Honghua, which is used a lot in this kind of liniment. It's going to really turn the liniment orange or red or yellowish. And then the next one I'm supposed to have Huangbai, but we're in the pandemic, and I'm just doing this kind of spontaneously, so I'm using the herbs I have. I don't have Huangbai, but I put some Huzhang in, which I think in this case I could substitute. The next three herbs are resins. So we have Moya, Rushang, and Shuijie. The moya that I have is already powdered, so I put it in a bag because if you put powders in a liniment, it's just gonna, it's hard to strain. So I put the powdered moya in a little bag. And then I do have rushang here in little lumps. And I have some Shuijie. Somebody gave me some once, which is really nice. This is very expensive stuff, but I'm going to use it. The liniment will sit for a very long time, so it'll be a really good liniment, and I might as well use what little Shuijie I have, even though it's an expensive thing and I don't have more. If you use resins in a liniment, which is quite common because Rushang, Moya, Shuijie, those are very common for moving blood to treat trauma, but liniments become sticky. So my other liniment that just had Sichuan pepper and cinnamon and dried ginger won't be sticky at all. When it evaporates, the skin will not feel sticky, but this one will have some stickiness to it because of the resins. It took me a while to figure out what that was about. And then we've got Lulu Tong. They're pretty cool looking, aren't they? So finally, the last herb in the formula should be Dangui Wei, but the tail of Dangui, but I told you this is a pandemic and I'm just using what I have. So I have regular Dangui. It's the whole root that's been sliced. So those are the ingredients besides the alcohol. As far as the alcohol goes, I said in the other part of the video that I've been given a lot of alcohol, and one of them is 35% alcohol by volume, whereas for liniments you need at least 40%. So I also had some, though, that's 62%. So I did a little bit of math, and I figured that if I use 3/4 of the amount of the 35% and 1/4 of the amount of alcohol as the 62%, then it comes out to 40% or just slightly above. So one of these jars is 750 milliliters. The recipe asks for 1 liter. So I'm going to use the whole jar, and then I'm done with the lower percent alcohol. And then I'm going to use 250 milliliters of the higher percent alcohol, and we'll be good. I have a jar to put it in, so I'm going to load these things into the jar, and we're going to do that. Okay. So I'm just throwing this in. I could pestle some of this or break some of it into smaller pieces, but this one I think I'm going to let sit for a very long time, because I already have some that's been sitting for, I don't know, 7 years or 10 years or something. So I'm not going to need this for a long time, and therefore, it's not like somebody might get injured, soon, and then I want to strain some off. This can just be here, sitting for years at a time. The jar's a little big. All my jars are either too small or too big, so this is just the jar I have. Okay, I'm going to open. This is the one that I want to put the whole bottle in. Okay, then I forgot to get a measuring cup over here, so I'm going to pause this, get the measuring cup, and pour the rest in. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. I want 250 milliliters of this one. And I think that's about right. It's hard to see while I'm videoing, but yeah, so I'm just going to pour that in, put the lid back on this alcohol. I like the bottle this brand is from. It has, like, I don't know if you can see, a nice little plastic cork that keeps it really sealed pretty nicely. So finally then, the last thing I'm going to do is give it a little stir. Okay. And you can tell already it's going to be a reddish color. Ooh, I smell that alcohol. Okay, so you could see I could make a lot more in this container, but I'm not going to right now because I don't have enough herbs for doing more. I'm trying to get a little bit of plastic wrap. Yeah. Okay. I don't totally trust the lid that comes with this, so here's some plastic wrap first. Well, actually, probably I should put the lid on before I kind of seal it. Let's see what happens. Can I do this? I think so. Okay. Hopefully that will keep the alcohol from evaporating and keep... I see, I think I need to, yeah, let's try it again. Ah, that's better. Okay, I'll neaten this up. And again, I'm going to agitate it, a couple times a day for a while. And then after a while, I'll just put it in a cool, dark place so that it can sit. And that's how you make a liniment. Earlier, I made the other one, and I just want to show you, this is the same day, just a few hours later, and you can see it's already changing color. I've shaken it a couple of times, and so, it doesn't take long for it to start, but it takes a long time for it to become complete. So that's the deal for making a liniment. You just have to not wait until somebody's injured, because you have to age it. So you have to make it now, and then you'll be ready when somebody's hurt. Okay? Bye.